Ernest Hemingway. There is no hunting like the hunting of man, and those who have hunted armed men long enough and liked it, never care for anything else thereafter. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self. The best way to find out if you can trust somebody is to trust them. The first panacea for a mismanaged nation is inflation of the currency, the second is war. Both bring a temporary prosperity, both bring a permanent ruin. But both are the refuge of political and economic opportunists. Every man's life ends the same way. It is only the details of how he lived and how he died that distinguish one man from another. Never think that war, no matter how necessary, nor how justified, is not a crime. The shortest answer is doing the thing. Prose is architecture, not interior decoration, and the Baroque is over. I love to go to the zoo. But not on Sunday. I don't like to see the people making fun of the animals, when it should be the other way around. Fear of death increases in exact proportion to increase in wealth. My aim is to put down on paper what I see and what I feel in the best and simplest way. For a long time now I have tried simply to write the best I can. Sometimes I have good luck and write better than I can. I rewrote the ending to Farewell to Arms, the last page of it, 39 times before I was satisfied. I don't like to write like God. It is only because you never do it, though, that the critics think you can't do it. From things that have happened and from things as they exist and from all things that you know and all those you cannot know, you make something through your invention that is not a representation, but a whole new thing truer than anything true and alive, and you make it alive, and if you make it well enough, you give it immortality. But man is not made for defeat. A man can be destroyed but not defeated. There is nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed. An intelligent man is sometimes forced to be drunk to spend time with his fools. When you go to war as a boy, you have a great illusion of immortality. Other people get killed, not you. Then, when you are badly wounded the first time, you lose that illusion, and you know it can happen to you. There is no lonelier man in death, except the suicide, than that man who has lived many years with a good wife and then outlived her. If two people love each other there can be no happy end to it. Time is the least thing we have of. If you are lucky enough to have lived in Paris as a young man, then wherever you go for the rest of your life it stays with you, for Paris is a movable feast. Madam, all stories, if continued far enough, end in death, and he is no true storyteller who would keep that from you. Cowardice is almost always simply a lack of ability to suspend functioning of the imagination. They wrote in the old days that it is sweet and fitting to die for one's country. But in modern war, there is nothing sweet nor fitting in your dying. You will die like a dog for no good reason. I learned never to empty the well of my writing, but always to stop when there was still something there in the deep part of the well, and let it refill at night from the springs that fed it. I wake up in the morning and my mind starts making sentences, and I have to get rid of them fast, talk them or write them down. All my life I've looked at words as though I were seeing them for the first time. The game of golf would lose a great deal if croquet mallets and billiard cues were allowed on the putting green. Always do sober what you said you'd do drunk. That will teach you to keep your mouth shut. I like to listen. I have learned a great deal from listening carefully. Most people never listen. There is no rule on how to write. Sometimes it comes easily and perfectly, sometimes it's like drilling rock and then blasting it out with charges. The only thing that could spoil a day was people. People were always the limiters of happiness except for the very few that were as good as spring itself. If a writer knows enough about what he is writing about, he may omit things that he knows. The dignity of movement of an iceberg is due to only 1/9 of it being above water. Motivational quotes, Ernest Hemingway. We hope for your support, in the form of likes and comments. Thanks for listening and watching. Please subscribe.